Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we're going to be checking out a track by an act named Therma titled Wolves, and if we switch over to here we have ourselves a track on Music B, we're going to listen through it from start to finish here. We think it should be noted that I've listened to some of Therma's work before and I'm typically very happy with it. I'll try not to let that cloud my opinion on this one, but yeah, from start to finish, here we think, let's go. Okay, starting with that music box. Okay, great sub resonance.
You got cracks in your windows, although when the wind blows, we still stay warm. We still stay warm. And even though the floors creak with every step, we still keep dancing.
Nice use of repeated melody with the vocals, development with the pluck strings on the side. Uplifting bridge. I just have a feeling it's going to get heavy in a second, so I'll go a little bit back maybe, but just really quick development of the track there. You get real nice sort of deep sense of context for the song almost immediately from that, and we're only within the first 30 or so seconds, absolutely no intro core there. Great combination of elements, especially with those kind of 80ish kind of synthwave kind of basses and drums that are very, very kind of fashionable at the moment. Phenomenal guitar tone. Distortion is fierce. Okay, a little bit more guitar here because we've got less vocals to kind of cater for. And as well as I love that drum fill there, that sort of buzz roll coming in with the tension and the strings and that high end kind of raising up there. Great combination of elements. I really enjoy how we are harmonizing the vocals lines at the end of each of the quarter of them. We're kind of comfortable in our own vocal range with our technique and everything like that, but we're aware that having extra notes, maybe that mid to high range above it, is just a great way of kind of changing the palette, cleansing the palette just a little bit before each additional sort of stanza. It's fantastic stuff, really. Cool, really beautiful harmonies as well, and a track that's so heavy in those choruses. What I love is those extra kind of higher sort of key parts there that are a nice sort of resonant, colorful texture on top of those down-tuned guitars, the drums and the bass. It just would have been a little bit flatter if they hadn't had that mixture up there. The guys in the perfect vocal range for music like this, great and resonant. A little bit of vocal fry occasionally with variations in the intensity of the performance there, but it's just stunning, dude. And guitar solo. Yeah. Great seamless transition there with a unison bend into the double bridge. It's great to have this airy feel with just the strings in him, you know? So full sounding, you know? The key change. Great bit of attitude there. Oh, dude. I'm trying not to interrupt. We just had the piano there at the end. There's a lot of subtle elements in there that poke out just at the parts of quiet. We had dynamic range within this. That's not an issue or anything like that. Just I'm blown away by this track. It's one of the best I've heard within the genre in a very long time. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track, Wolves by Therma. What I think this track is about. I think after listening through the lyrics, I believe the track is about someone who has a relationship with someone else and they are not necessarily super duper stoked with the fact that they've been lied to or the difficulties that the other person is having. But at the same time, with all the danger out there, the wolves, which I assume is a metaphor for something else, they just want to still have a connection with that person anyways, to have that love, that tenderness, to dance in the moonlight until the morning light. They don't care. They just want to have that connection. I think it's a beautiful thing, really. That this vocal performance sells it, like that tremendous vocal technique, and Cheer's voice is nailed. And it's just, you not only have these single track kind of verse parts as well, where the vocals are so huge sounding and so varied in the emotional and performative sort of like diversity of it, but it's also, you have these wonderful harmonies at the end of each sort of like verse, half of the verse stanzas, and the call and response in that last sort of key changed out chorus part where you're going between the sides of the head stereo field and the center. And it was just so wonderful to listen through this. I'm really blown away by the effort put in there. And nice, a bit of vocal fry occasionally. It was sensational. Like this is one of the best middle vocalists that I've heard in my time as a reviewer. Without hyperbole, I mean that genuinely. They've got the voice, and I really hope they can continue to produce music which both has this amount of this kind of aesthetic as well as this utility of their chops on the mic, because it's splendid. The melodies were really intriguing, and I'm enthralled by it. And the harmonies were beautiful and pretty on top there. And just the key change, how we handled those notes moving into that so eloquently, was divine. I'm blown away by it and very impressed. The track at 3 minutes 26 is right within a 2 to 4 minute sweet spot, so we're just nailing it. There is no filler within this. I think the shorter form factor forces us to really kind of put as much as we can in there, and boy do they shove it in, man. Lots of variation to the drum parts with these interesting 16-30-second fills going between these kind of droppish kind of like eighth note kick parts, just thudding in with the kicks and snares and crashes and such. And then we had like the kind of synth kind of wavy kind of 80s stuff going on with the quarter note grooves and the verse parts for a great contrast there, combining the synthy kind of EDM-ish elements with the middle kind of gent progressive stuff going on in the choruses there. It's awesome. And to go even lower, I think we went lower in that key change was a masterstroke, because usually we go up. We went the opposite there, and we made the best use of the instrument's range that we could. So that was great. The bass parts were spectacular, nice and around that low end, predominantly filling in the root notes, but it was nice and full because of that. The string plucks on the side kind of remind me of a little bit of Avenged Sevenfold stuff from like their like self-titled EP. Like there was this big long track they did. Some of the orchestral kind of chops from that were wonderful. And I think that there was a great tone to them as well. They sounded like it actually got an orchestra to record it. Bum, 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 bum. And I can remember certain melodies that they played because they intertwined and harmonized so well with other elements of the mix. And like, honestly, like the strings when they weren't plucked, they were soaring over those chorus sections alongside the pianos, which played these wonderful little melodies on top of the hook parts in the mid to high range. They really kind of gravitated and it added a real sense of kind of fantasy to it. It was like a waltz. It was like you could imagine them dancing vividly within the music. You could hear the moonlight and the wolves outside, but them inside their sanctuary away from all the danger together in their kind of forbidden romance. Solo section on the guitars outside of the low-tuned guitar parts and like other bits was phenomenal. It was relatively minimalist with a great... It showed he could play with the sort of the alternate pick stuff ascending in the latter half of the solo. But it was just so... It was like an extra voice or a change of vocals. We didn't just have one lead melody, we were okay. We took turns with the way that people had the forefront, and it was really cool. And lots of love for that. Really well-spoken solo there that, again, bridged really well onto the bridge section, which, the transfers between the tracks parts of the track were, sensational. To be able to get multiple verses, bridges, and choruses into this with a solo section, and a chorus with like a key change chorus on the end was great use of 3.5 minutes. The theme there overall was intoxicating. It was one of the most intricately written tracks I've heard from, like, I assume an indie artist, because they really should be signed at this point if they're not already. They're that good. But either way, they're just one of the best. There was nothing more they could have done with this to make it better. I don't think they could have added any more lead elements. There was lots of variation in the rhythms there, the chord progressions, and the overall harmonies and colorizations. There was dynamic range to the performance as well. Things got quieter, such as with, like, just having the string or kind of orchestral parts for the vocals before that last kind of chorus section. And it was just wonderful. It was sensational. It was great all around, no complaints. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering is just the icing on the cake at this point, because the performance is damn near flawless, and you just have great clarity to the vocals, the guitars, the bass, the drums, the strings, the pianos as well. Everything was notched well in the frequency spectrum and the stereo field there. It was exceptional. Like, I that vocal fry and that last run there at the end of the track, just how it soared and kept that, the intensity was so well mixed and so well presented. I was blown away by it. Like, if you heard that live, everyone would just be screaming, man. It'd be phenomenal. You know, everything was leveled well. There was dynamic range, which I appreciate. Things weren't the same loudness all the time. There were changes in textures and timbres, which made it more intriguing throughout. Didn't overstay its welcome. And it was nice and loud without pumping. Effectively, this is my review of Wolves by Therma. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show us some love via their various social medias and on all digital streaming platforms and stuff like that. And stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support local musicians and artists at this point in time, as he help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.